The champions, and new ones at that, have been crowned. Kenya Police FC are the kings of Kenyan football, at least this term, sealing the season in style. And it's a double celebration for the law enforcers as their women's team, Police Bullets, also retain the league crown. We'll unpack that dominance for you. In the National Super League, Nairobi United have had their moment in the sun, lifting the National Super League title and punching their ticket to the top-tier FKF Premier League. We'll dissect the journey and what lies ahead. Across the borders, the gallant Harambee Starlets went the full distance at the Sekafa Women's Championships, only to fall at the final hurdle to a determined Tanzania side. We have all the highlights and analysis. Back home, all eyes are on AFC Leopards, Kenya's most decorated football club, as they head to the polls. Could the elections usher in a new dawn? In Swila's shot, I'll break down what needs to be done to reboot Ingwe and restore its lost glory. And in the same token, in our quickfire segment, we put the Leopards chairmanship aspirants, Boniface Ambani and Vincent Enos Mutoka, on the spot. What are their plans? Can they deliver? You don't want to miss that conversation. Sporty Monday crew is here and fired up. Jacob is here, Ziti Jimoi, legal mind Japheth Munyendo, and tactical brain Benson Bare are all in the studio ready to tackle the talking points. Welcome and thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Isaac Swila Tijan. Let's get started, and in Studio B is Ziti Jimoi at the scoreboard. Ziti?
Thank you so much, Swila. I know you've already given Police FC their flowers, but again, I think it's their win back-to-back. But last season, they were the FKF Cup champions, and this season, of course, they are the FKF Premier League champions. So that is a win for them. And not forgetting Nairobi United. They've been promoted to the FKF Premier League, of course, after winning the NSL League, and not forgetting the ABSA, let me say just ABS Bomet manze. Watu wa Bomet wote tafadhali tushaingia Premier League saizi. So I know it is exciting. I saw them celebrating the whole night manze. That is a very a milestone for Bomet for coming into the Premier League. And of course, in this side we'll be diving in the statistics of FC Leopards on when was the last time they won the FKF Premier League and what is happening. And of course we have two gentlemen here, of course, Enos and Ambani will be giving us all the details and what their promises they have for FC Leopards. Back to you, Sila.
Thank you, Ziti. And of course, I'm reminded Ingwe are not the most decorated. Of course, it's Kogalo, but they're among up there. And to the question of the day, of course, Leopards will form the bulk of this show. And we're asking you, what do you think has hindered Leopards from winning the Kenyan Premier League title since 1998? What do you think has stood in Ingwe's success in as far as the title league is concerned? We want to hear from you, and of course, the men who want to take the mantle, Boniface and of course Enos are here. They'll be telling us. But for now, we want to hear from you. 22422, you can text us your thoughts, and of course, we are also on Facebook. Remember, you can get this conversation going via hashtag Sporty Monday. You can also X me at Isaac Swila, at Season TV Kenya, at Jacob Isia, at ZTJMO, and of course, we'll sample your feedback. And of course, in the quickfire segment, as promised, we are putting the two men on the hot seat, Boniface Ambani and Enos. They are all in studio. That conversation coming shortly. So please stay with us so that we can hear what they have for Ingwe. And of course, our top story today, we go to Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, where Harambee Starlets fought gallantly, winning all their matches but one, falling to the host in the final 0-1. Take a look at how that battle went down in the Tanzanian capital.
Mashabiki wanafurika, shangwe, ndelemo, vifijo, kelele kweli. Wanapata bao la kwanza. Bao kwa Tanzania. Fanya kazi kubwa sana. Kaluvanga. Tanzania moja. Tanzania 1.
And of course, that's the highlight of the final of the Women's CECAFA Championship, where Beldin Odemba coached Starlets fell 0-1 to the host. Jacob, I'll begin with you. Your thoughts on that performance, probably. Where you come from, they'll say you carried the water all the way from the stream only to break the bucket at the doorstep.
I think it was a good show by the Starlets, and I want to really congratulate them, although we know that in this region, all the time, when you don't emerge the top, we feel that we should have done better, because we have always been the big brothers, the big sisters. But considering the events that surrounded Starlet's preparation towards CECAFA, there were questions as to how far they could go, because you remember they headed straight from Morocco after that friendly to Dar es Salaam. It was like a 2-day break. Mm-hmm. You remember there were issues about the players' availability. First, before going to Morocco, Beldin had to prepare with only 14 players, the rest joining just in the final day of traveling. Then going to CECAFA, there were people who were called up. There were some of the players who were called up. They never honored the call-ups. Some of them said it was because of personal reasons. But it was so clear that it was issues to do with payment. And, you know, I always say, Swila, that these players are born in Kenya. They are family friends. They are friends to some of us. And so we know some of the details. There were some WhatsApp group formed somewhere about some players who, you know, who are saying we don't want to play because we're not being paid in a couple of matches. So with all those issues happening before the tournament, then going on to beat Burundi 3-0, beating Uganda 4-0, beating South Sudan 4-0, then it was a show of something that, you know, there's something that is happening. Now, looking at the two matches, the first match that Beldin played, the players she fielded and the squad she fielded in the second match was changed almost by a half. You understand? Almost the entire squad, showing that there was something to do with measuring, you know, who can play where and what are some of the changes you can do meeting different opponents. So against Tanzania, they were at home. It was just a narrow, you know, defeat. So I would say there will always be a winner. Starlets showed a good show. But we are always asking the question, why do we lose to any team when it comes to any CECAFA member? But we need to also remember that we are not doing also very well when it comes to the men's team at the same level. And so comparatively, you would ask, for example, how would we fare against Taifa Stars? How would we fare against Uganda Cranes? You understand? So when we know for sure that we deserve the best in the region as far as women's football is concerned, we can still say that it was a fair performance for the team.
Fair performance for the team. Benson, maybe there are a lot of issues that bedeviled the team in the run-up to this tournament, but credit to Coach Beldin, because we saw a very fluent side all the way from the first match, second match, third match, and now falling at the last hurdle maybe. Actually, it was an own goal. Probably, how do we build from here? And there has been the question of the future of Coach Beldin. As much as Hussein was here and to confirm she's still the head coach, I think that speculation won't just go away.
Thank you, Swila, for having me. First, allow me to say that that was tough luck for our ladies. But as we surge forward, Swila, I think the future of Beldin should not be in question, because coming up with a team of 14 players, Swila, and heading to a CECAFA, you know, this is the regional championship, and you are heading with 14 players, and you have little time to make them gel together, and you head all the way to the finals. And actually gaining a own goal because of maybe, unajua Swahili usema mpira udunda. So sometimes it was, Aswila, allow me to just be against what Isia has said, because when it comes to football and sports, you know, anything can happen. And going all the way to the final, a winner must, we must have a winner. Despite all the bravado and all that, we must have a winner. And this time, it was tough luck for our ladies, but it was a good show, going all the way to the finals. And what we are getting a good show from the ladies comparing to the boys. Also, Swila, is not only the Harambee Stars and Starlets struggling. We also saw Shujaa Morans, in other names, struggling in against Madagascar and Zimbabwe. So we have a lot of work to do when it comes to our teams, both the ladies and the gents heading forward, because we have also the Chan tournament. We have big tournaments coming up, and if we can reach the finals in the Sekafa, then it means we have something in store that we can unlock heading forward to the big games.
Yes, just for clarity, maybe the issue about the players who turned up for camp, being 14, was before heading to Morocco. And of course, when there were new call-ups, some did not turn up. There were changes that were made, and at least she had a team to go to play with there. And I give them their flowers for sure.
Absolutely. Wakili wanasema mcheza kwao hutuzwa. Labda this was for Tanzania. The God smiled their way. Actually, it was an own goal by Enes Mango. But you watched the game. Both sides were very, very tight, very compact contest.
Yeah. From where I see it, we'd rather lose to Tanzania than Ugandans. Our rivalry in football and in sports is always between the Kenyans and Ugandans. And for me, I felt comfortable because, Tanzanians won't taunt us, they won't goad us. I mean, we won't even banter because their English will not match ours on the social media space. So we're okay with the loss. Be that as it may, I think this tournament, firstly, was a round robin. And I feel we had a superior goal margin, goal difference. Had we even emerged, the final scores ended up at 0. And it was indeed tough luck. There was the environment for preparation, as she has put it, was not very conducive for a coach. You may be the best qualified coach, but if the tools of executing your duties are not available, you may be handicapped. So I understand there's an issue of payment of some allowances. Of course, I won't blame the federation. Some of the players and stakeholders need to understand, the moment you are called to fly high the country's flag in any international competition, it now becomes the duty of the national government to pay you. And of course, we are switching to a new financial year. And sometimes there's bureaucracy, which is understandable, even in the most developed jurisdictions. The sports fund is the entity which is supposed to have made these payments. And whenever we are switching to the new financial year of preparation, I wouldn't really fault them at this juncture. So I understand the players need to be paid their money. It is their right. It is not a favor. But I really wish at some point they will have put the country first. Secondly, in terms of women development, we are now becoming better. We are improving. The coach is now having... she has got a lot of options, because once there was a difference, I wouldn't really term it as a boycott, because if anything, again, what they did, they have a right constitutionally not to agree to some of such call-ups whenever they feel that they were not paid. It's a form of a boycott, and it's part of a fair labor practice within the Constitution of Kenya. But there are many options. I'm glad. The transition is better. If we are serious, if the boycott persists, if there will be a delay for another 1 year, you can be rest assured that we have other options. We can
rest assured other options, but it doesn't take away the fact that we must respect the right of these players to pay their dues.
They must be paid.
Is it a case of Swila not paying Munyendo?
Yes.
Putting you aside and now running to another option in Zita?
Yes.
Right.
No. They must be paid, and we will advocate for that so that they get what is duly earned. I was just saying we have got an array of options. Any coach, I know there are mamas that the coach may be shown the door, and coaches serve at the mercy of the employer. So if it is here who is going to be employed, or if it's our friend who is going to be employed there to take over, you will have a lot of options. There are many players who can. But
Zwila, sorry that I have to come in at this point. You see, when I listen to Wakili Munye, what he's saying is that those players who were boycotting should be reminded that there are options. Because Swila, like I said, we interact with some of those players. Some of them live very humble life. Some of them, they just need that allowance to pay the rent.
Make ends meet, yeah.
Sometimes really embarrassing when a player flies high, national team, you know, Kenya flag, and then they come back, they cannot afford rent.
It's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing.
It should be happening
and
at this
therefore,
point in time, yeah.
Let us talk about options of many players that we have because there's competitiveness in the team.
Which is good.
Not because somebody asks for their right.
Absolutely.
No.
And they're not, because again, at the end of the day, what happens?
Is here.
The buck stops with the coach. The coach will be asked, why are you not performing? For example, who knows, for example, had she gone with all the players she wanted, the result would have been different in
Absolutely.
the
Zita, let's hold that. Let's hear from Zita.
Okay.
First of all, I would just want to say there was a very different display of football from the youngsters. Talk about Mboya, talk about Medina. You saw what just coming in and just filling the gap of players actually who dropped. The rumors has it that the players have already been, those who traveled have already been paid. Rumors has it that they've already been paid, but we don't, we can't go and ask them, Melipwa. So at the end of it, I just want to give Beldin her flowers because that was amazing work. Just to have a new team that you need to work with, and then you have to, if there's a coach mwingine angekuja kusema the players did not gel, that's why I lost. But again, have unbeaten up to the finals, and you have new squad coming in, and players are really playing. You can see the transition of the game, that is from the midfield, from the defense midfield to the strikers. You can see the flow of the game very well. So kudos to the girls.
Let me clarify this.
Allow me to be the devil's advocate. Because I've been there as a player, and thankfully Boni as a legend is here also. When it comes to money, when you're named in the starting lineup and it is the national team jersey, it's not about the money now. It's about the jersey. It's about the national jersey. It's about blood and sweat.
Yes.
You know, you fight for the team. You fight for your country. We are at war with our neighbors, be it regional, be it international stage. We are at war with our neighbors. So, but the current generation, it's all about money. It's all about first, before I go inside, you pay me my allowances.
Money.
No. It's important to clarify mentality. 30 seconds. In 30 seconds. 20 seconds. Let me clarify. The agitation as to payment of the monies is not about the Sekafa tournament.
Absolutely.
Yes, there were some monies owed arising out of previous...
Out of Ivory Coast, if I'm not wrong.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.